Hello, this is Captain Poodle speaking. Are you ready to find love?
Yes, ahoy, matey.
Love. Exciting and new. Go online. They're catfishing you.
Shocker.
Fiance.
Soon you'll be flying to parts unknown.
90-day fiance.
Marrying someone you only met on your phone.
Be they French or Chinese, a brand new K1 visa's the key.
Ooh, the key to what, Poodle?
To love.
It's reality, yes,
Let's love.
I'm Matt Sharp's girl. I wanted to be.
Oh, boy.
Y'all,
If anybody ever made a play.
this fool over here spent his entire night like with the cast.
I really didn't know.
I was going up to the executives, the TLC people.
Drunk Chantel did corner me for about 20 minutes.
I did talk to Drunk Chantel and Drunk Winter.
Oh, Chantel and she cornered me for a while.
Yeah.
But, y'all, this is our night.
Oh, I hate this
Say it
title.
together.
Our night with the cast of 90 Day Fiance. It gets worse and worse every time I say it.
You know, Mary Payne talked about this on her show with Ingrid, and I wonder if their retelling is going to be any similar to ours, or if it will be very different.
If you don't have any backstory about what we're talking about, we should offer a prologue.
Please.
We have a lovely relationship with a fantastic young woman. I sound like I'm 80 years old. She's a very inspiring young woman.
Really hard-working whippersnapper. Makes me think these young kids are going to do something.
She's a good girl.
Good girl.
In our typing pool. And named Nicole, and she's been great with PR.
It was TLC, but now it's
Discovery Warner
Max.
Max
WB Max.
Discovery Warner /
WB. That WB frog is just there masturbating on everything now.
/
It's a WB. Ugh. That's what's happening.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Why don't you suck my dick?
David Zabzlot's watching. Anyway, she's wonderful.
She basically wanted to invite us, and she invited Mary Payne.
Ashley Ray with TV I Say.
Yes.
I think we were the 3 podcasts.
Yeah, and they were very kind to invite us too. And she said, "I know you're West Coast, but we're having this 10th anniversary party to also celebrate the 10th season, and we'd love to have you guys join us. There's going to be some cast members there. It's a celebration of the show. We know you're fans of the show." And I'm like, well, it pays our rent. So
Yeah.
I'm actually, you know what? I am a fan of the show.
Oh, this season, we're getting some great 90-day content.
I'm a fan of the show.
You haven't watched
say
it
that
yet,
now.
but I just watched this week's Toe. Oh.
Well, I couldn't download the screener. So.
Worst marriage proposal we've ever had on 90 Day Fiance history.
From who? You
I'm
can't
not
tell.
telling you who. I'm not telling you who. Because I can't.
I don't know. It couldn't have been any worse than Christian's proposal.
No, it was.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Wow.
Pretty bad. Anyway, it's a good episode of Toe coming up this week, y'all.
We're not here to talk about that, though. We're here to talk about
our
night with the cast of 90 Day Fiance.
You branded it.
No, I didn't. I literally said, we can call it something. We can say something like Our Night with the Cast
You
of
were
90
in the
Fiancé.
bathroom peeing and said, we're going to call it Our Night with the Cast. That's
No,
what
I
you
didn't
did.
say that. I did not say that because I would never brand something. That's your branding.
So y'all, let's just cut to it. We arrive in, because Poodle's got to get a flight. So we arrive in New York City, and we're here, and it's at the Standard Rooftop, which is super fancy.
Yeah. We're hoping it won't rain.
Hoping it won't rain.
I'm wearing a white coat.
a beautiful white coat.
Thank you. Thank you. It was
you
loaned
bought
to
from
me
your
by a
man
friend.
and I told you not to give it back or to keep it if you ever in that relationship, or if he ends with you, find it.
Jesus.
If you find that jacket and steal it from him, he looks gorgeous on you.
Okay, that's more of my move, and to have you suggested is a little disturbing.
Sorry, you're hearing the clinking of my Diet Coke.
Yeah, don't do it.
Sorry, it's loud.
You're a little tipsy because of that Bloody Mary earlier.
Just relax.
So, I will say I was very excited, and I was actually we felt pretty honored to be there, and because they didn't have to invite us.
No,
we're just little gadflies, just like nipping at their heels, and
it's like on a hippopotamus, just trying to get some flex.
I need some blood,
bacteria out of your eye. We're just going.
Hey boy,
hey TLC boy,
hey TLC boys, but and everyone was so lovely, and we showed up, and Mary Payne and you and Ingrid, her producer, we had some drinks, and
the drinks were what a common theme of the night is the drinks were free.
The drinks were free, and a certain member of the cast whose name rhymes with Veronica kept giving me drinks. And anytime I put one down, there was another one in my hand. And if it wasn't for Veronica, also a certain member of the cast whose name rhymes with Chovy.
So you talked about me talking to the cast. However, cast members were giving you drinks where someone with the name of Schmingrid kept giving me drinks.
Okay, got it.
So
I was making my rounds with I met a lot of the TLC team, which was great, and they seemed to kind of know who we were.
Yep, it was
which
shocking.
I was taken aback by.
We were taken aback by.
And they seemed to
welcome
us.
Did it kind of horrify you?
Yeah, because of the things I've said.
The things we've said. I mean, just think, an executive producer of a network has had to sit and listen to us sing the Girth Train song.
I think in some ways they realize the absurdity of what they do sometimes.
Think about this. That executive producer has sat and listened to you describe very descriptively the many sexual positions that you do on a given encounter.
I'm never embarrassed. I'm a sexual being.
So let's talk kind of, because I know y'all are going to want to know who was there.
Who was there?
Y'all don't care about the network. Y'all care about the stars.
I was networking the fuck out of the TLC people.
We were. They were. Well, and also we enjoy the process of the show.
Yeah.
So it's like we totally.
The
I don't want to say
EP of
her
Darcy
name.
and Stacy I met, and
Thank you for stealing it out of my mouth.
Sorry,
That's what I was about to say.
I literally spent a lot of time with her.
We kind of freaked out with her because we told her how much we loved Darcy and Stacy. We were wearing shirts that we made.
That says, "Hey Stace" and "Hey Darce."
One of y'all suggested you want us to sell those in the merch store. I don't know if we could do that legally. I guess we could.
Well, it's not copyrighted, but they might come after us again. We'll see.
We'll see. But so we really freaked. So yes, I think all that aside, it was great. It was very validating.
Yeah, we were all like, a lot of us, even though they do the work, they're fans.
They're fans. It was nice. So I think a good way to kind of keep is we arrived there first, and kind of the first Veronica, y'all, we're friends with Veronica. So actually, and we met Veronica. We've hung out with her.
She got real drunk at our San Diego show.
So did I. Us and Sissy Angel just walking around just San Diego, just D looking.
Hey, Sailor.
Hi, Sailor. So so Veronica, thankfully, God bless her, kind of handheld us a little bit when we got to it. It was very sweet. And so we go, and so we actually first met Tim. We have never met Tim.
Hey, y'all, it's so good to meet you. He gave me the biggest hug.
He tried to shake my hand, and I said, I'm not shaking your hand, you're Tim. And I hugged him. He's taller than I thought.
I did him.
Better looking, too.
I did him to him, and he's like, that's like really how I sound.
I said,
that's
we
like
called
really good.
You Chester Cheetah, Tim. And he laughed at it a lot.
He did.
And then that's when you did the voice. And then he was very
like,
gracious. That's what he did. That's what he did.
Yeah.
Tim wore the eyeliner, looked great in it. Tim was what something that I think people want to know on this show is, are these people the same that they are on the show?
100%.
I think everyone we met was exactly who they presented on this reality show.
You know who I was kind
Tim
of
was. He was so Tim was. I understand why. I just want to say this because we're talking about Tim. I understand why Tim and Yennefer worked on screen, because Tim has to, if he to be on the show, he has to be paired with someone like Yennefer or even Veronica, who's super high energy and just a little
He's
crazy.
introverted.
He is so chill. He's just like, yeah.
I don't know why I say
whatever.
introverted. He's
very
introverted.
chill. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, the only person who was slightly guarded that I met, and maybe it was because I caught her earlier in the evening when she wasn't completely wasted, was Chantel.
So the next person we met was Chantel, and
She looked great.
y'all, Chantel and Winter.
She was beat as
The
fuck. Winter
beat-
was wearing this unbelievable red dress.
Veronica told us that she said the PR people told us not to wear gowns, so I didn't, and every other woman here wore a gown. Like Yara was wearing full on pageant
Yara
gown.
was wearing a pageant
It
gown.
was gorgeous. It was
It
unbelievably
was like
gorgeous.
Elsa.
It was gorgeous.
She's
Shida was wearing a
She's
pretty
like, Mila,
gown.
I told Mila that I'm wearing an Elsa gown tonight.
But yes, we saw Chantel then. We talked to her for a little bit. She had no idea of who we are.
No,
like none
and
at all.
Someone mentioned the word Pedro, and her face just turned inside out. She's like, bleh.
Blech. We said,
Y'all, the bitterness is real.
it's real. It's real. Again, I'm gonna say, like, I know they know it's a reality show, but I think this last season
everything-
of The Family Chantel is going to be
Everything
visceral
feels
and real.
really fresh still
Really
for her.
fresh.
From the conversation I had with her.
Well, I have some context to add to that when I talk about later in the night when I talk to her.
Can you just talk about it now because we're talking about Chantel?
I guess so. But so we talked to her. You mentioned I think you mentioned the trailer. We just saw it. And you actually said, also, I realize your father is now contouring his face. And Chantel
She was confused.
She got confused. She said, "Wait, you said your father, he's got the contouring." And without a beat, she said, "Well, we have the same makeup artist. Why not?"
She's like,
was funny.
she's like, we always look good.
We always look good. So that was kind of our interaction with Winter and Chantel at first. Again, they met Mary Payne. Again, they were like, Mary who? What? Like nobody knew. They didn't know who
They didn't know who we were.
But then later on,
All the TLC people, all the TLC staff knew who we were, though.
yeah, but none of the
which
cast
is-
members knew. Like none of them.
Yeah.
Chantel later on when I talked to her, she got real drunk. And
Yeah, her
by
and
then,
Winter were wasted.
I'll be honest, no shame. I was pretty drunk. We were all, except for Mary Payne.
I got
'cause
drunk at dinner later
Mary
on.
Payne was still shamed by podcast movement, so she kept it. But Ingrid was drunk. You were drunk.
Yeah.
I was. Your mom's drunk. We were all drunk. And so Chantel and I are talking, and then we started swapping ex-boyfriend, ex-husband
I
stories.
knew this would happen.
And Sean, I did not expect.
Did you hear about Pedro's dick?
I don't want to say that on air.
Oh my God.
But when I did say the word to Chantel, I said, "Girl, we were both dickmatized." And she said, "What?" And I said, "Dickmatized, because we got laid down by that dick." And she went, "Oh my God, that's it." And she laughed and
Y'all,
laughed and laughed.
That's what happened. She was dickmatized by DR Dick.
She was dickmatized. I told her, 'cause same thing happened with my ex. And here we are, these men abusing and abusing us. And we bonded, and she gave me her cell phone number, and we're texting now. Never would have thought that was happening.
Wow. And the shit we've talked about her.
I know. Really not so. I mean, so much about her. But really, we just about her not talking with her mouth. But I will say, in person, I felt like she talked with her mouth more. It wasn't so
She
clenched.
did. I think she's very, very worried about how she appears on camera. And
She's just concerned.
yeah.
The next thing I'm going to set you up for this, because this is really more your interaction. So at the beginning, we met Chantel, and we're going, and it's a very small room, and we're walking by.
It was so hot
I'm
in
standing
there.
by Poodle. It's so fun to be with you. It was such a great night. And so we're walking, and this woman in a red dress comes up and turns to us and says, "Oh, hi." And it's Liz. And
As in Big Ed and Liz.
And I froze, and I went, "What do I say? What do I say?" And
you just walk away.
And what did you do when
I
Liz...
went, hey. You look great.
Y'all, we
And
talked
like
so much.
y'all pred is right there. And I was like, and all the things that came into my head to say, like, yeah, I bet you're having a rough night dealing with pred right there. Or like, what's it like fucking pred? Or do you ever like look at him in the middle of the night when he's sleeping and want to bash his head in with a lamp? I figured that all those would not be appropriate
not
for
appropriate.
the occasion. But I thought of all of them. And then I just went, hey, good seeing you. And I went, we have a podcast. And she's like,
I had walked away by then. I completely abandoned you.
yeah, you did. And she went, oh, she was drunk. Thank goodness. She's like, oh my God, like I just talked to someone else who has a podcast. And I'm like, yeah, it's a thing these days.
It's a thing.
Like, this is like two people who she has no idea of how many times I've spoken her name.
Yeah, it's weird.
I never spoke to Pred, who was literally behind her.
I said like 3 little words to him in an elevator.
Yeah.
We were going down that. I think I posted a video of all of us waiting for the elevator.
I will say that she's like, have a good night. And then she went and ordered another drink. Because if I had to be with Pred, I would order. But that was like the panic in my eyes when I met someone who I had talked so much shit about. Now,
Yes.
you saw Bilal and Shida and you talked to them. And I knew I did not want to go over there because I would just mention, are you aware that I've been talking about a bus where we're going to murder you?
Did not bring that up.
Like,
No,
I
no.
just knew. I'm like, this is a funny joke, but like, I talk about murdering you.
Yeah, they might not think it's funny.
And
Again,
a lot of people who are our listeners want to join. They all
Again,
want to murder you.
they have no idea who we are.
They have no idea.
No. She literally had no idea who we are.
So yes, you stopped and talked to them. You're braver than me because I just didn't want to engage. I felt they were there and they were having a good time.
I ended up talking to Shida, and then Bilal came over, and that's how that happened. But even before that, a woman from TLC came up to us and said, love you guys. And she introduced us to the president of TLC, who knows our show.
Howard.
Very handsome man. He's cute. And so we talked to him for a while. And so I think then after that, we were standing by each other. And that's when we went and I think we met Jovi and Yara, right?
Yeah. Like I said, Yara was like ice queen gown. I was taken aback by how gorgeous she was in person.
She's fucking
Her
stunning.
body.
Y'all.
And actually, even Jovi was cuter in person
Way
than I
handsome.
thought. I didn't think I was be taller than Jovi, but I am just slightly.
Just slightly. Jovi is, and I told Jovi, I said, you are really handsome in real life.
Jovi. I said
And
I
he
went
went,
to
"Oh, thanks,
Jovi. All I had to say was I went to LSU. Jovi's like, oh my God, come here.
So we met them together. As soon as you said that, Jovi like grabbed your arm
Grabbed
and
me.
stole you to the bar.
Yes, and then we
Yara
drank
and I talked.
Sazeracs and
What did you and Jovi mainly talk about?
we talked about my time at LSU, restaurants in New Orleans, strip clubs he likes to go to in New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
The show in general. He shared some stuff that I can't say because I don't want to piss off any of the PR people.
Oh, okay.
Because
Better tell me later.
he was already drunk. Shocker. Like I watched him in like the 20 minutes I was near him.
Mm-hmm.
I watched him drink 3 drinks.
Good for
Yeah.
Jovi.
And it's one of the reasons I was really hungover because he kept getting more drinks.
He did get you very drunk. Yara and I we talked a lot about The Last Resort. We talked a lot about Pete.
Yes.
We talked a lot about the past life thing, how much she liked that. And she was actually very interested like in what we did. So she talked to me. I will say probably out of any cast member, Yara
She's an entrepreneur.
She asked the most questions about me and us and like what we did, who we were. We talked for probably like a good 30 minutes.
Jovi and I
were
just-
drinking with Jovi for a good
Jovi and I just talked about who we knew in New Orleans.
because you did walk back from Jovi and you looked like a cartoon character that had been hit in the head with an anvil.
Yeah.
Your eyes were just kind of squarely.
No, I asked him what crew his parents were in the Mardi Gras parades and things like that.
And so
Yeah.
I I feel like if we ever went to New Orleans, we could go party with Jovi
No, I
and
think
Yar
we
and have a
could.
good time.
I would need a new liver at the end
I think
of
you
that.
and Jovi have a good time, and Yar and I would talk about makeup and things.
Yeah.
Because we talked about that. Like, we had a great time.
I want to say before we talk about the main event,
What's
I
that?
had one engagement with Tyree, and I'm like, "Hey, Tyree," and he's like, "Hey," and I went, "Good to see ya," and I moved on.
So I talked to Tyree.
I know, but you want to know things about these people, and I just want to move on.
I talked to Tyree for a good 20 minutes too, and I
Wow.
Well, and I talked to him about just he talked to me he said, kind of what he said on the tell-all, but that's going to air. But he basically said yeah, I saw what I wanted to see, and I didn't see what was really in front of me, and that's on me.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I kind of commended him for this wasn't an easy story. A lot of shame behind this. So we talked about his story and kind of how I thought he was really brave to put it out there, because a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't think I could face him after I made up a ukulele song about his father getting murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I understand it.
That was kind of my. You were right. I had to come face to face with some of these
You
people.
have some of the things you say.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. But then.
I really enjoyed talking to Tyree, actually. Really sweet.
But then, y'all, we decided to go over to Gino and Jasmine, who were literally holding court at the bar. Jasmine had on opera gloves. That's all that needs to be said.
gloves.
There's a picture of her with you. I was talking to Gino.
She cradled my face.
Yes. Her boobs were out for everyone to see. She looked great. She was funny. She was a good sport. One thing about Jasmine actually did listen to everything we were saying too. She was taking in everything.
We had a conversation with her. I think they knew who we were.
They knew who we were.
We walked up to them.
Gino follows us.
And Gino
Gino says, "I love you guys."
We walked up and Gino said,
"They're reality gays."
Yeah, he was like reality gays and was he was wearing a black fedora.
He looked good. I will say this. Gino is more handsome in person.
That is the most surprising person.
And
I turned to Jasmine. I went,
and
is
she's like,
hot in
I
person."
know. Everyone says that.
She's like, you see how hot he is. And I said, we do. And
then you did your impression.
I actually said, I haven't said this online, but I did my impression, and I looked Jasmine right in the face, and I said, Gino, I want you to come inside me, Gino. And she
fell.
Laughed hysterically. And then you did Gino, but I don't know what you said. I couldn't hear you.
I said, Jasmine, this is not appropriate. I need better equipment. And Gino's like, that's really good. That's really good. That's really good.
He high-fived us.
He high-fived me, and y'all know I don't high-five as a rule, so it was a big deal for me to high-five him.
We talked to them for a good 30 minutes as well.
They were lovely.
How much we love them, how we talked about some things we can't talk about here because they kind of gave some things maybe that would be a hint of a spoiler of their season, and so we don't want David.
She and I talked about Michigan winners a little bit.
Y'all talked a lot about Michigan.
Yeah,
I told her kind of what I've said about her and Darcy and Stacey. That I've said if people are thinking the biggest thing to talk about you is plastic surgery, then they're missing Jasmine. And that's when she said, I love you. And she hugged me and we took that picture. So that was kind of that moment.
She was fantastic.
It was.
Did you talk to anybody else? I think the only last one I want to talk about is Senior Sharp.
We talked about that, but we did talk about, so I actually had Shida, no idea who we were. I kind of was like,
yeah, Shida and Bilal, you were talking about.
Yeah, and I kind of was bumped into her, and we were talking to her, and I was talking to her, and she was really nice. And then Bilal came up, and Bilal we actually talked about real estate a little bit, and because we talked about Kansas and Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma and being from that. And
he's from Oklahoma?
No, just they're in Kansas City, and I was talking about being from Oklahoma, and because ironically enough, y'all, I don't mean this as a defense, but everybody at the thing said they would talk about the cast members, and they said Bilal was the nicest guy.
Yeah, don't believe it. Sorry.
I talked about that, and I talked to him a little bit about how I heard this, and it doesn't match up on the show. I was a little honest about kind of my read of him, and so
You soft pedaled it.
well,
That's disappointing.
I kind of didn't, but I don't want to go into the full conversation. I was pretty blunt with him, honestly, and he took it. So, and it had a good conversation with him. But before we get to match, we also need to talk about. I don't know. I had a lot of conversation with Emily. Emily and Kobe were there.
I literally talked to Kobe a little bit.
He is hot, y'all.
Emily was kind of holding court, and I still haven't kind of like gotten over her.
I had a good I full on told her, I said, girl, I said, we read you for filth. You got.
Yeah, she didn't know who we
I
were
said, that
either.
first season she didn't know who we were. I said, but that first season was terrible. And she's like, I know, it was stressful. And she's kind of talked about being stressed about it.
She looked great though.
She looked beautiful, and Kobe looked great. It was his birthday.
Yeah.
And she said, I said, but now you're Pillow Talk darling. She's like, I know, we're very lucky. She's like, I'm glad it all worked out. She's like, I hope people see a different side of me now. We talked about, she showed me pictures of her kids because we talked about how
her lisp
cute.
is still prominent in
Oh,
in
I
person.
loved her. I'm telling you now, y'all. Emily and we had a great time together. We would go to dinner. I could totally see myself in my 20s being her gay BFF.
Well, she had like 3 gays she brought on the
did.
show.
She
Yeah.
loves gay people. You can
Yeah.
tell. Kobe, we talked a little bit, but it was really Emily
he
and I
was
hit it
great.
off.
He was really nice and humble. He also asked, what do you do? And he listened. He'd had a couple to drink too.
We were all sad.
Everyone at that party was kind of drunk.
I would say the most put together gay men there that wasn't as slosh as we were was Kenny. Kenny and Armando.
God!
Armando was not there, but Kenny was.
I will say, I did not expect. I thought Kenny was tall.
He was shorter, I think, than you. I mean, like I failed you, sissies, because I was so excited to talk to him. I was staring at his skin. His forehead is completely smooth.
He looks very young.
Not a wrinkle on it. I did not talk to him about his skincare serum.
I actually,
It was a
you
failure.
asked, and I screamed at you.
Oh, did I
Stop
ask?
it!
I was
Stop
pretty
it!
drunk by
You
then.
horrible starfucker.
You know what? You did do that, and Kenny laughed and said, "That's funny."
Yeah.
We had a good time. We talked about kind of businessy stuff just because we want to support them, and he was like, "We want to support you guys," and so I think they're gonna. Maybe we'll talk to him or something.
He's exactly how you would imagine. He was lovely.
He was so.
He
and
doesn't.
He was funny.
Yeah.
He was like saying funny, like sassy things. He's the one that had the idea. We were taking pictures. He's like, "You guys kiss me on the cheek. Armando will love it."
And Armando commented on the picture, and it was like a frowny face and then a laughing face. He's like, "Don't you take my man."
That's what I was worried about. Is Poodle like either sleeping with someone at TLC or breaking up a marriage that night? Did not happen.
The only marriage I wanted to break up was Mr. and Mrs. Sharp.
We did meet Daddy Sharp, y'all, and we did.
And I called him Daddy Sharp.
You-
And he laughed.
he laughed.
He's got a good sense of humor, that Sharp. I'm not going to describe what he looks like because that's not fair.
We talked to him for a long time. Mary Payne talked to him even longer than we did.
I love talk, and he actually loves what he does.
Yeah, he does.
I mentioned
I just want to say he loves what he does, and he talks about. It's one of the reasons why we first covered 90 Day Fiance is that y'all we talk about fraudacity on some of these shows. That said, it's one of the least fake reality shows out there, and he really talked about it. Not the way Chris Colin talks about Love Is Blind. You brought that up to him.
I mentioned that he's like, yeah, he's a colleague of mine. I kind of know each
He
other.
said nothing disparaging.
And
you
he
did.
said, I said, that bitch thinks he's curing cancer, and he went,
He laughed, but that's all he
laughed.
said.
Yeah.
But no, he really has a genuine interest in these people, and he wants to show people he wants to show people a slice of life of these people's lives.
Yeah.
I did say to him to his face, Matt Sharp, you're giving us so much content right now that basically you're inside of me 8 hours a day. He laughed at that a lot. I didn't know how that was going to go. He guffawed. So I think, and then we both told him I think we both, because we were a little tipsy then, I know you said it, and then I think you said something to the fact of, if Mrs. Sharp isn't giving you what you need at home, you know who to call.
Yeah, I think I did say that.
And I said, and if you're into redheads or something, it was gross.
Ooh, yeah.
This is a part of the story
I was
where
throwing
Mary Payne
myself at
didn't-
him. Y'all, when you bring two country fags to New York, this is what happens.
You even held your arms up to your face when
No.
you said it.
I was throwing out every trick in the book, y'all. Trying to. Oh my
that's our time.
God!
That's our timer. We have
But
to stop.
I was just gonna say, then that last thing. I don't know if you saw this.
No.
Where Nicole, the PR person, I don't know if you heard this, and this guy was around her, and I screamed at Nicole. I'm like, "Who's the cute gay guy you're with?" She's like, "That's my boyfriend."
You.
And I'm like, "I'm so sorry." She's like, "Oh, it's a compliment."
Her and then the woman we were talking to, who was the EP of.
I latched on to that bitch.
There was a guy.
Oh
there
my
was a
God!
guy she
I was
talking
so
to
into him.
who
I
was
touched him.
He was very straight.
And y'all, I made a beeline to him.
I gotta say,
I kept touching him because he was so hot.
I will not hear it because if we look at the shame you tell me that I act in public, if you showed your ass way more than I did at this party.
Yeah, but I'm smooth about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Shmaronica could put opinion on that of what she saw.
Oh,
and Schmingrid.
I felt bad for that guy because I was literally up in his grill.
You were up in his
Every
grill.
time I saw him, I was like, "Hey, how are ya? Hey." I think that's the end of our night with the cast of 90 Day Fiance.
That's basically it. We had a really good time. And it was, again,
It was a dream.
It was kind of a dream, and it was just really, it was really wonderful. And we texted Darcy and our Instagram's pictures of Darcy and Stacey with our shirts, and of course they responded, "We're honored. We're honored.
Inspiring.
We love you guys. We love you so." And they shared it. So we're sad our queens weren't there, but they've got their own show now. So
Yeah.
So I said, "Is there a new season of Darcy and Stacey?" And she said, "Fingers crossed."
It is
we don't
weird.
know.
It is weird how everyone we talked to about Darcy and Stacey said, and the craziest thing is they're so nice.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing
They talked about
Yeah.
how Darcy and Stacey were so wonderful.
Yeah.
We would mention 90 Day UK and they all went, "What?" It's like they don't
It's
even
a
know what that
different
show
production company.
is. Yeah, so it's very different.
completely.
Anyway, thank you.
By the
She's
way,
not listening,
90
but
Day
thank-
UK will hopefully be there on Sunday, y'all, because of our schedule and because of their huge fuck up not getting it on Max. We can't ignore our recording schedule.
Yeah, we can't.
So hopefully
So-
it'll be up on Sunday-ish. We're doing our best.
We are doing our best. So
And now I can't watch it on the fucking plane because I can't download it.
Gah. Anyway, we she's not listening, but thank you again to Nicole from
Thank you, Nicole,
from
so
WB
much.
Max. Like really,
Thank you, Mary Payne. Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you, Daddy Sharp.
I guess we can say this too, y'all. Send us good vibes because we can talk publicly about it. I don't know how we got this email, but we got invited to the premiere of the Villains party in
Yeah.
West Hollywood next week. So hopefully
House
we're gonna
of Villains.
Yes, so hopefully next week we're gonna meet Anfisa.
And Jax and Shake.
I don't know the rest. Oh, Shake, but I just want to meet Anfisa.
And New York. Tiffany Pollard.
So we're gonna be going to that. So we're in demand.
Your queens are actually stepping out. Your sisters are doing it for themselves.
I'm really worried about that too, because that's gonna be in West Hollywood. So that's your old.
I may not come back.
Like Pavlovian sense memory.
Yeah.
Although this is E, so I bet the drinks won't be free.
No. There's just going to be a bowl of Funyuns.
All right,
with
everybody.
that-
That's been your special bonus episode. Hope you enjoy. And Daddy Sharp, if you're listening,
Call us.
call us. You know where to find us.